This bill matters, and this discussion that we're having today matters. So I thank the Honourable Lady for bringing forward this discussion. Because too often in this place, I suspect that our hard of hearing and deaf constituents sometimes wonder how often we think of them, how often we make sure that everything we do considers the challenges they face, the opportunities they have within their communities that we perhaps don't appreciate. And so I think the fact that we're able to stand here today and say we are listening and we are talking and we are learning and that we want to matters. And I have to say I really enjoyed listening to her, and I think this is such a tribute to your parents. And I hope that they're still with us, and if so, I'm sure they're incredibly proud. And if so, if not, what an amazing, amazing tribute. And you should be congratulated for bringing this forward, because as many of us have said, bringing forward Private Member Bill is very difficult. And to get it to this stage, I don't think has been done since 1999. So that really is testament to your hard work. I thank the government also for their work, because it wouldn't be happening if the government hadn't given its full support, but also all our constituents, particularly those in Rutland and Melton who've written to me to give their full-hearted support to this and to ask me to speak in support of it. I also wish to thank the Honourable Lady for bringing this forward, because I think sometimes we can feel quite helpless in this place. We can't all pretend to be experts on all issues. We can't always make a difference when we want to. And I think particularly in the context of Ukraine, when so many of us are sat here wishing that we could do something meaningful to make a difference and to protect lives, to stand here today and to be able to do something that gives recognition to such a big community, that says we are listening and that will make a difference to their lives, I am grateful to you for giving us that moment of hope. Recognising British Sign Language as a language is so important, and I cannot believe that we are only just having this conversation, that in my entire lifetime I did not know that that was not the case until this campaign was started. And it's great that your work will result that government is held to account, the 15,000 people who use this language every single day will know that you have championed their cause and the government is making sure that they are supported. The lady spoke beautifully about deaf culture. I have to say that I have, on a number of times in my lifetime, found myself trapped watching a beautiful conversation between 2, 3, 4 deaf people. The first time was when I was about 9 years old in an airport in Sweden, and I'd never seen this conversation, and it was beautiful to watch and mesmerising in its own way. And whilst she has rightly said that this is not a silver bullet and there is more that can be done, and I'm sure that there will be attempts to do so, I would like to see British Sign Language taught in all schools. And it makes me sad that off the top of my head the only piece of sign language I know is how to say thank you. At least I know something, but I would love to know more. We should be teaching it in all our schools, and I'm sure my friend for Norwich North will want to see the same, because I know that she has been taking lessons in British Sign Language. I also think it's important we look at how we create an opportunity for children in our schools to experience a day in the life of a deaf person. How can they truly understand if they haven't had the opportunity to do so? And I know as an MP and many of my colleagues have been blindfolded for the day, and we've spent a day being blind. So let's look at the same thing that we can do for our kids in our schools. I also want to recognise and look back to when our friend, the Minister for Portsmouth South, did an address from the such box solely in British Sign Language for how important that moment was. And I know the member for Norwich North has also done videos solely in British Sign Language. I would make one further plea, and I've set the context already of Ukraine already, which is this country does a lot well for deaf people. There is much more we can do, as we've said, but I would urge the Minister in her capacity to reach out to our colleagues at the Home Office and the Foreign Office to see what we can do to support those deaf individuals and families in Ukraine, because for them this will be an incredibly difficult moment, and perhaps we can provide some support to the Ukrainian government on how to ensure that their alarms and their alerts and sirens that are going out across the country hourly are able to reach those who are hard of hearing and deaf, because they are the most vulnerable at this time. In conclusion, Mr Deputy Speaker, today does matter, and I hope it shows the deaf community that we are listening and that you are heard, and that today will make a monumental difference. And I finish just again by saying thank you to the Honourable Lady for her campaigning, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to do something meaningful in the most darkest of times.